Irishman Paul Stirling struck a brilliant 100 to see Middlesex through to a comfortable 34-run victory over Derbyshire at the picturesque Queen's Park ground in Chesterfield to still just about keep alive their hopes of qualifying for the semi-finals of the Clydesdale Bank 40. Wayne Madsen won the toss and asked Middlesex to bat first in the sunshine, and in-form David Milan and Sam Robson, who was given a rare outing in this competition, got the Panthers off to a steady start as they opened up with a stand of 24 in the first 6 overs. Madsen had surprisingly opened up with the part-time off-spin of Wes Durston, and it was a policy which worked as he saw the back of Milan, who mistimed a shot off him to mark-foot it to go for 16. That brought Stirling to the crease, and he again showed what a talented striker of a cricket ball he is. In successive overs, straight after arriving at the wicket, he struck 6s, the first off Tony Palladino and the second off Footit. Stirling was making sure that his side made an aggressive start. Time after time he was finding the boundary with a succession of excellent shots. He hit 2 more maximums before sweeping Tom Knight for 4. This stroke took him to a 50, his 3rd of the season in this competition. It had come off only 33 balls in 33 minutes with 4 6s and 3 4s. It really was a wonderful start from him. And this time he went on as he dominated a second wicket stand of 90 in only 11 overs with Robson. Chesley Hughes does not look like the most threatening of bowlers, but he proved to be Derbyshire's most successful one on this occasion. He had Robson leg before for 31 to end that excellent stand. Chris Rogers was given the captaincy as Neil Dexter took a break, but the Australian could only make 5 against his former county. Hughes did for him too, although he looked a bit embarrassed when his former captain was caught in the deep off a rank full toss. At the halfway stage of their innings, the Panthers were going well on 127 for 3, and a big total looked on the cards when Scott Newman and Stirling came together and continued from time to time to hit the big shot. When Stirling hits it, it stays hit. This pair added 52 in 10 overs, with Newman making 33 off 39. He was then leg before to Peter Burgoyne, a 17-year-old, making his debut. Burgoyne had a day to remember as he also removed John Simpson just 3 balls later with another LBW decision. Stirling was still there, however. He had slowed down a little after that rampaging start, but he kept it going to reach the 5th century of his one-day career. This one had occupied 75 balls with 6 4s and 5 6s. And he added a 6th maximum to that list as he tried to make the most of the remaining overs. He'd scored 109 off just 81 balls when he perished, slicing another attempted big hit off Knight to Martin Guptill. It was a brilliant knock which ended in the 35th over with a total on 215 for 6. Stephen Crook also fell in the pursuit of late runs. He'd made only 2 when he was bowled by Palladino. But Ollie Rayner, back on a second loan spell from Sussex for the rest of the season, showed why Middlesex like him so much as he struck the final 6 of the innings off Burgoyne. Tom Smith was out to the penultimate ball, swinging and missing at night as the Panthers ended on 253 for 8 from their 40 overs, a little short of what they might have achieved with just 64 coming off the last 10, but it was a fine effort nonetheless. And it suddenly looked like a very big score when Guptill, who stroked 100 against Yorkshire on this very ground last week, was out in the first over of the reply, Simpson clinging on to the edge after the initial parry by Milan. Rayner was given the new ball by Rogers, but Durston went after him, striking him for a 6, while Hughes stumped his replacement Toby Rowland-Jones for another massive maximum right into the pavilion. Stephen Finn then struck for a second time by bowling Durston with a delivery which was too quick for the batsman and kept a shade low. With Derbyshire on 44 for 2 after 7 overs, their hopes now rested with Hughes, who used his enormous frame to power the ball to the boundary on a number of occasions. There's no doubt that his shots pack a sizable punch. His half-century was reached off 51 balls. He'd hit 1 6 and 5 4s in that, and his was a wicket that Middlesex clearly wanted to get very soon. There was little between the two sides comparatively at this stage, and with Hughes smashing his second 6 off a crook no ball, the home side were now reasonably well placed. They made 112 after 19 overs, needing 142 of the next 21, when they lost 2 wickets in 3 balls. Hughes didn't get enough on this shot off Smith and offered Crook a good diving catch at short fine leg. And almost immediately, Greg Smith offered his namesake a simple return catch to put the Panthers back on top. The spinners were doing the business in the middle overs, and when Rayner had Ross Whiteley caught off a top edge by Simpson, the home side had slipped to 136 for 5 in the 25th over. Burgoyne's debut innings didn't last long. Before he'd scored, he dragged a delivery from Milan which didn't bounce back onto his stumps. So 116 were needed off the last 15, but Tom Poynton and Madsen hadn't given up hope just yet. They produced some fine shots to add 34 in the next 5 overs, meaning that they went into the final 10, requiring 82. Madsen had just completed a 56-ball 50 when he got a leading edge to a delivery from Crook, who held on while backpedaling. So now Poynton needed to have a swing, something he was able to do with some success, as he brought the target down to 41 of 5 overs with this shot. It looked like it was going to be very close, but then Palladino holed out to Robson to give Finn his 3rd wicket. Then 2 balls later, Poynton on 40 chipped Roland Jones to the same fielder, and that left the last pair of Knight and Footitt to score the necessary 40 runs for them to win. They managed only 5 of them, then Footitt gave himself enough room for Roland Jones to drive a bust through to the stumps. He was bowled and Middlesex had won by 34 runs. It was a good performance from the Panthers, who put what has been a disappointing week in Kent behind them. They are now assured of at least 2nd place in Group A, and if Sussex lose to Kent on Tuesday and are then thrashed at Lords on Bank Holiday Monday, the Panthers could still qualify for the semi-finals.